Hello, future leaders. Let me describe a Tuesday evening you might recognize. It's 8:30 p.m. Your team left the office at 6. The lights are off around you. You are still at your desk, finishing a deck that someone on your team could have done almost as well by Thursday morning. But you are doing it because it would have taken longer to explain it. Because you want it to be a certain way. Because quietly you were not sure they could pull it off. And as you finally pack up your bag at 9:30, you tell yourself the same lie you told yourself last Tuesday as well. This week was just busy. Next week will be different. It will not be different until you delegate. Here is the data point that should genuinely change how you think about your job. Harvard Business Review research is unambiguous on this. Companies led by executives who delegate effectively grow faster, generate more revenue, and outperform their peers. And it's not just at the top, the same principle applies at every level of management. The managers who delegate well get promoted faster, the ones who don't quietly burn out doing their team's job for them. In the next 12 minutes or so, I'm going to give you a complete delegation playbook, but built on the best HBR research, a simple framework you can use tomorrow morning, and one of the most powerful real-world stories about delegation in modern business history. And I'll save the most uncomfortable truth for the very end, because once you understand it, why you really don't delegate, you can't ignore it. Hi, I'm Varun Bhargava, and welcome back to Leadership Codex, where leadership truly matters. I'm on a mission to transform managers into future leaders. Before we talk about how to delegate, we have to fix something that most managers get fundamentally wrong about what delegation even is. Most managers think delegation means giving away tasks I don't want to do, or worse, dumping the boring stuff on my team so I can focus on the important stuff. That is not delegation. That is task transfer. And it's why your team doesn't trust you when you try to do it. Real delegation is something completely different. Delegation is the act of building your team's capability by deliberately handing them work that grows them while freeing you to do the work that you only can do. Notice that definition has two halves. Their growth, they take on something that stretches them, and your leverage. You unlock time for the high value work only you can do. When both halves are present, that's delegation. When second one only is present, that's just offloading, and your team can feel the difference immediately. And here is the deeper truth that almost no manager wants to hear. Every time you choose to do a task yourself that someone on your team could have done, you are stealing a piece of their growth. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like efficiency. It feels like protecting them. It feels like just getting things done. But over a year, those small thefts add up to a team that hasn't grown and a manager who quietly resents how much they are carrying. Quick check. Drop a yes in the comment section if there is a task that's sitting on your plate right now that someone on your team could be doing instead. Let's see how universal this is. Before we get to the how, we have to be honest about the why. Because here is the thing. Every manager I have ever met already knows they should delegate more. The problem isn't ignorance. It's friction, real internal friction. And the research has identified 3 deep psychological barriers that hold managers back. Barrier 1 is perfectionism. A 2023 study published in the Indian Journal of Management found that 45% of managers struggle with delegation specifically because of perfectionism, the belief that nobody else can deliver to their standard. They will say things like, "It's just easier if I do it," It's need to look a certain way. Nobody else cares about the details like I do. And here is what makes this so dangerous. Perfectionism feels like a strength. It feels like high standards. It feels like caring more, but it isn't. It's a quiet way of telling your team, I don't trust you. Barrier number 2, control bias. Organizational psychology has a name for the second barrier, control bias. It's the human tendency to overestimate our own efficiency while underestimating the capability of others. Your brain quietly tells you it would take me 30 minutes. It would take them 90, so I will just do it. But your brain is lying to you because next month, when the same task comes back, you will spend another 30 minutes, and the month after, and the year after. Meanwhile, if you had taught it once in 90 minutes, you would never spend that 30 minutes again, and a member of your team would have grown a new skill. Barrier number 3, social risk. The third barrier is one almost no one talks about. Research by Dr. Jason Spandolo on managerial anxiety found that many managers experience delegation as a social risk. The quiet fear that if I don't do it myself, people will think I'm not pulling my weight. This one runs especially deep for new managers because the very skill that got you promoted was doing the work brilliantly yourself. And so we keep doing it visibly, frantically, late into the evening because we have quietly confused being busy with being valuable. Here is the most uncomfortable insight I have read on this topic. High performers who can't delegate are not protecting quality, they are avoiding trust. Sit with me on that for a moment. All right, now to the practical playbook. Let's look at the 5-step delegation playbook. You can use this for every meaningful piece of delegation you do. Step number 1, decide what to delegate. Most managers freeze at the very first question, what should I even hand off? There is a wonderful framework for this from Jenny Blake, an author and consultant featured on HBR's IdeaCast. She calls it the 6Ts framework. Every task on your plate falls into one of 6 categories that are candidates for delegation. First T is tiny, a small task that take you out of flow but add up to hours. Second one is tedious, necessary work but not work that needs your judgment. Third T is time consuming, tasks that eat your week and could be owned by someone close to the work. Fourth one, teachable, tasks that someone could learn how to do with some coaching from your side. Fifth one is the terrible at, tasks you are generally not good at, where someone else would do them better. Sixth one is the time sensitive, tasks that need to happen now in parallel to your other work and where you are the bottleneck. Tonight, let's sit down with your current task list and put a letter next to every item. Anything with a T next to it is a candidate for delegation. You will be shocked how much of your plate doesn't actually need you on it. Step number 2, decide who to delegate to. Most managers default to the same 1 or 2 reliable people, the high performers, the ones they trust. Stop doing this. It's the slowest way to kill morale on a team and the slowest way to grow the rest of your people. Instead, before you delegate, ask yourself 3 questions about your team. Who would this task stretch? Not break, but stretch. Who has been quietly asking for more responsibility even if they haven't said it out loud? Who is ready for visibility? A project that puts them in front of senior leaders. Delegation is one of the most powerful career development tools you have as a manager. Used deliberately, it changes life. Used lazily, it just rewards the people who are already doing fine. Step number 3, the delegation conversation. This is the step almost every manager skips, and it's the one that determines whether the delegation actually works. Bad delegation sounds like, hey, can you take care of this thing? Let me know if you have any questions. That isn't delegation, that's a hot potato. Your team member walks away anxious, unclear on the goal, the boundaries, the standards of doing it. A real delegation conversation covers 5 things. Use this every time. Number 1, the what. What is the task described as an outcome, not a list of steps? Number 2, the why. Why does this matter to the customer, the team, the company, or to them personally? Number 3, the when. When is it needed, including key milestone if it's a larger piece of work? Number 4, the boundaries. What can they decide on their own and what should they check with you before doing? Number 5, the resources. Who can they talk to? What budget do they have? What's the standard of done? And then, critically, end the conversation with this question. To make sure I explained this well, can you walk me back through what you understood and what you will do next? That single question, done without condescension, will save you hours of clarification later, and it instantly tells you whether you actually communicated clearly or whether you just thought you did. Step number 4, step back but stay in range. Once you have delegated, you have to actually let go. And this is where perfectionists die a small death every single week. Here is the rule that took me years to internalize. Their version of the work will not be your version. Their first attempt might be 80% of what yours would have been. And HBR is very clear about this. Accepting 80% on a delegated task is not settling, it is investing. Because their 80% this month becomes 95% next month and then 100%. Meanwhile, you have reclaimed dozens of hours permanently. So step back, resist the urge to redo it. Resist the urge to rescue them at the first sign of struggle. And this is critical. Stay in range. Schedule one short check-in before the deadline. Make yourself available for questions. Make it safe to come to you if they are stuck. Great delegation lives in a narrow zone between abandonment and micromanagement. Your job is to stay in that zone, not too close, not too far. Step 5, debrief and lock in the learning. And the 5th step, the one almost everyone skips, is the debrief. After the task is done, sit down with your team member for 15 minutes and have a structured conversation. You can ask what went well and what should we keep doing this way. What was harder than you expected and what would you do differently? What do you want to own more of going forward now that you've done this once? Without the debrief, the delegation is just a transaction. With the debrief, it becomes development. And next time you will be able to delegate more of the same kind of work with even less of your time spent supervising it. That compounding effect over a year is what separates managers who scale from managers who plateau. Let's look at a real-world case study. I want to close with one of the most remarkable delegation stories in modern business, and it is unfolding in real time as we speak. When Tim Cook took over as CEO of Apple in 2011, almost every commentator predicted Apple's decline. Steve Jobs had been a famously hands-on, micromanaging founder. He oversaw individual pixels. He personally approved product details. His leadership style, by his own description, was demanding, autocratic, and centralized. Tim Cook did the opposite. Cook surrounded himself with trusted specialists. He gave them genuine authority. He focused on what only the CEO could do, like a strategy, culture, regulators, capital allocation, and he delegated almost everything else to the people closest to the work. And here is the result that almost no one expected. Under Cook's delegation-led leadership, Apple grew from a market capitalization of approximately $350 billion in 2011 to over $4 trillion in 2026, more than a tenfold increase. Cook did not become a better Steve Jobs. He became a great Tim Cook by trusting the people he hired to do their jobs well. And here is the part of the story that is most relevant to us as managers. In April 2026, Apple announced Cook will step down as CEO. His successor, a man named John Ternus, joined Apple in 2001 and quietly worked his way up over 25 years. Ternus described Cook in his own words as my mentor. And in the years before the announcement, Ternus had been delegated more and more high-stakes responsibility, leading keynotes, joining regulatory meetings, presenting products on the world stage. He was in effect already running the company before he had the title. That is what the masterful delegation looks like at the highest level. Not just freeing up time, but building the next generation of leaders deliberately over years. Cook didn't just delegate the work, he delegated the future of Apple. Now, Tim Cook runs the most valuable company in the world. Most of us don't. So let me bring it all together. If you take only one thing from this video, let it be this. Delegation is not a productivity hack. It is the single most important skill that separates a doer from a leader. Every hour you spend doing work that someone on your team could have done is an hour you didn't spend coaching, thinking, planning, or building. Every task you take back because you can do it faster is a small theft of someone else's growth, repeated across 100 Tuesdays. Every late evening you spend finishing what you should have handed off is your own promotion quietly delayed. And here is the uncomfortable truth I promised you in the hook. The reason most managers don't delegate is not that their team is not ready, it's that the manager isn't. Delegation is at its heart a leap of trust. Trust that someone else can do it, perhaps differently, imperfectly, but well enough. Trust that the work will get done without your hands on your every step. Trust that you remain valuable even when you are not the one doing. Until you take the leap, you will always be busy. You will never be a leader. So here is my invitation to you this week. Pick one task on your plate, just one. Run through the 5 steps, have the conversation, step back, accept 80%, debrief. Do that one act of trust and you will have taken your first real step from being a manager to being a leader. Everything else eventually follows. Before you go, I have one honest question for you. What is that one task you are going to delegate this week using the playbook from this video? Drop it in the comments. Naming it publicly makes you far more likely to actually do it. And I read every single one of your comments. And if this video gave you a clear way to look at or think about delegation, hit subscribe button. Because at Leadership Codex, we don't sell shortcuts. We do the patient, deliberate work of becoming the kind of leader your team is genuinely proud to work for. Because at Leadership Codex, leadership truly matters. I'm Varun Bhargava, signing off for now. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.